Getting ready for some team warfare in Tulsa, Walker. We have Team Red James, the foreman. Red James leading the psychotic messengers, Malachi, the savior of suffering, Tank Bryson. Of course, they are accompanied to ringside by the foreman's right-hand man, Chelsea Stackhouse. They are taking on another red team tonight, but a team wearing the red of a little bit north of the border. Let's see who's making up Team Canadian Red Devil. The Canadian Red Devil, Rockin' Ronnie Morton, the RDW Brass Knuckles champion, and Andrew Phoenix. Little six-man tag action here in Tulsa on a Saturday night. Action already starting. Canadian Red Devil all over Red James, Rockin' Ronnie Morton on Tank Bryson, and Malachi trying to stay out of the way, getting a shot in on Rockin' Ronnie Morton where he can.
It was very obvious from the get-go, as soon as you see the individuals involved in this matchup, that it was going to be chaotic from the start, but I didn't expect it to start off that way.
Three of the wildest, loudest individuals in UWO representing their respective teams, all six of them clashing at the center of the squared circle. That is what it is all about.
Well, there's been a war of words, as one could say, between Team CRD and Team Red James. More so the two captains of the respective teams, and the Canadian Red Devil and Red James. These two men, just simply put, do not like each other's presence, James.
Bit of jaw-jacking back and forth on social media led to this contest here. Red James already calling in his reinforcements, bringing in the savior of suffering, Malachi. Canadian Red Devil on the receiving end there of a flurry of forearms. Now he has the forearm of Malachi controlled. Big atomic drop there, dropping the proverbial family jewels of Malachi across the knee. Malachi has to be feeling that one, obviously. He returns the favor. Right back on top of CRD. You can't turn your back on this team for a minute. I know Red James likes to talk, but you give Malachi an inch and he will capitalize on it. Red James now capitalizing on the opportunity Malachi gave him.
James, I don't know if this is actually allowed. We have red-on-red violence here tonight in Tulsa.
Both teams a little red this evening. Team Red James, Team Canadian Red Devil. One thing is for sure, though. These perhaps might be the most 6 different personalities that you could pick from this locker room. But they all come together under one thing. Either their dislike of Red James or their love for Red James. One thing is for sure, everybody has strong feelings about each other in this match, especially these two. Rockin' Ronnie Morton taking it to Red James. These two have been going back and forth for months now.
Just revolving that RDW Brass Knuckles Championship, which currently belongs around the waist of Rockin' Ronnie Morton. But don't forget how he obtained that championship, defeating Red James in a full bodysuit and mask. We were dubbing him the Black Scorpion, James.
The Black Scorpion came out of hiding to win that Brass Knuckles title. Red James said Rockin' Ronnie Morton would never get a shot, but the Black Scorpion did and won and revealed himself to be Ronnie Morton, who's taking it to Tank Bryson here. Going for that big scoop slam, got him up and over. Right down on the shoulders. Elbow drop there to the chest. Tank Bryson now being covered. Only a 2 count though before he kicked out. Ronnie Morton's gonna have to keep applying this pressure. Team CRD for that measure. And we'll have to keep applying the pressure on Tank Bryson.
We got a lot of red in this matchup here, James, whether it's Canadian Red Devil or Tank Bryson. But here's Andrew Phoenix. This is one of the most beloved members of the UWO roster. You've seen him navigate the backstage area in the past. Everyone's always trying to shake his hand. Everyone's always trying to talk this man up for a good time.
And now he's lighting Tank Bryson up. A series of chops, a punch to the head. Tank Bryson having none of it though, returning a headbutt to Andrew Phoenix. Andrew now not where he wants to be, back in the corner with Malachi and Red James, but CRD making the save. Fighting off Red James and Malachi, trying to get Andrew Phoenix back to his corner. CRD now, the legal man, I guess. Tank Bryson up. Red James out of the corner, delivering a shot of his own.
This is a matchup that's very hard for anyone to keep up with, whether it's here at the broadcast booth or even inside the ring itself, James.
Whether it's Martin Justice or us up here at the commentary booth, chaos has ensued. Ronnie Morton trying to make the save for the Canadian Red Devil, now being escorted back to his corner, courtesy of referee Martin Justice. Tank Bryson and Red James now taking over on the Canadian Red Devil. Your favorite anti-hero being brutalized by the foreman.
Well, there's a massive experience differential between these two men. Red James, less than 2 years into active competition. Meanwhile, I remember going to independent professional wrestling shows in the state of Oklahoma myself as a child, watching Canadian Red Devil win championships all across the state.
The Medicine Hat, Alberta native, a long-time staple of the Oklahoma wrestling scene, that is for sure. But that leg drop nowhere to be found, just like Hannah, Alberta on a map. Canadian Red Devil got Red James hooked. Atomic drop for him, sends him back to the corner. Red James out. CRD's got him hooked up, and an inverted one. One for the front, one for the back, one for the road.
I believe Stu Hart taught him that one at the wrestling dungeon himself, James.
Perhaps he did. Never gotten close to our favorite resident anti-hero to ask him about his training regimens, but perhaps that came right out of the art dungeon. But those fists are coming right from the end of the forearm of CRD. And now Red James being sent to the outside.
Things can only become more chaotic as this matchup goes on. One thing that we've noticed throughout this entire time, Chelsea Stackhouse being pushed out of the way, and now
don't try to get in the way of the Canadian Red Devil. When he sees his target, he wants a piece of Red James, and they will fight all across this building to do so.
They will fight so far away that it's going to be completely out of our field of vision as we're currently experiencing, and now we're seeing them. CRD and Red James going to war here tonight in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Red James trying to crawl across that table to find some reprieve. CRD letting him have none of it. Big chop from on top of the chair, down across the chest of Red James. Red James trying to find reprieve in anyone, even a tag to Malachi. That'll do. Don't know if CRD didn't see it, but he was so focused on Red James. Malachi was able to take back over. Control now firmly in Team Red James' grasp here.
The Psychotic Messengers and Malachi and Tank Bryson have been tag team champion all across the state of Oklahoma. Currently reigning as multi-company tag team champion, highly acclaimed by the Psychotic Messengers. Red James might have made a great decision in choosing these two to team alongside him tonight.
When you're trying to find a tag team, there's none better in Oklahoma than the Psychotic Messengers, former AIWF World Tag Team Champions, Empire Pro Tag Team Champions, UWO. They've had plenty of successful tag team matches here. We don't have a championship, but one could only assume the Psychotic Messengers' dominance would carry on. Red James here getting the opportunity to square off with Rockin' Ronnie Morton, but bringing Malachi in to handle things. Red James not wanting a piece of Rockin' Ronnie Morton, as you mentioned earlier, Walker. Their feud has been long and ongoing here in UWO. Malachi driving those shoulders into Rockin' Ronnie Morton in the corner. Red James and the Foreman's right-hand man, Chelsea Stackhouse, on the outside, watching, enjoying, as Tank Bryson's in now to continue the punishment.
You know, and throughout all the chaos that we've seen in this match, oh, DDT!
Right on top of the head for Rockin' Ronnie Morton. Beautiful move by Tank Bryson, now bringing in Red James, now that Ronnie Morton's in a desperate position. James calling Ronnie Morton rockin' chair Ronnie Morton. Of course, that brings the fire out of Ronnie. Tag in there. I believe Canadian Red Devil may or may not be the legal man here. Ronnie Morton is not done with Red James, though. This is a personal matter. These two deeply dislike each other, and they're trading punches. Now CRD taking advantage of being the legal man and pinning Red James. Red James has been eliminated from his own team.
And with 20-plus years of experience, CRD manages to outsmart that of Red James. But Tank Bryson, not as much experience as CRD tends to have. However, right on the attack here, very smart maneuvers here from Tank Bryson.
What he lacks in experience, he makes up for in intensity into the cover. Only a 2 count for Tank Bryson, but this relative newcomer, a trainee of the legendary Nick Dinsmore, known to some as Eugene, known to others as the longest reigning OVW heavyweight champion in history. When you come from a pedigree like that, it's no surprise that just a couple of years into his career, we're seeing such impressive things from Tank Bryson.
And it's not shocking whatsoever that Tank Bryson is an excellent tag team competitor, because his mentor, his trainer that you just mentioned, Nick Dinsmore, former World Wrestling Entertainment World Tag Team Champion in his own right.
Very experienced in tag team competition, just like Tank Bryson. But nothing prepares you for Andrew Phoenix, the fire of the Phoenix, coming out here. Clotheslines on clotheslines for Tank Bryson, but I would say keep your eyes on Chelsea Stackhouse, but it looks like that's exactly what Andrew Phoenix is doing. Into the roll-up. Andrew Phoenix has been eliminated. We're all tied up 2-2.
I know Chelsea Stackhouse doesn't exactly mind being the center of attention when it comes to being at ringside, but I think Andrew Phoenix might have taken it a little too far. Look out for Ronnie Morton. Malachi, what is going on here?
Getting the assist from the ropes. Down goes Rockin' Ronnie Morton, 2-on-1. CRD is fighting by himself. The Canadian Red Devil has got to dig deep. He's got a GMSI. He has got to pick up the win for his team by himself.
GMSI?
I'll tell you later. Canadian Red Devil here. He's got Malachi's foot on the ropes. He's standing on that ankle and knee, dropping all his weight. That knee, the MCL, the PCL, all of those ligaments in the knee being brutalized by the Red Devil. CRD now trying to apply a figure 4. He's got it locked in. That tension being applied to the knees of Malachi, trying to make that tag to Tank Bryson. Perhaps his only hope, a tag or reaching the ropes. He's able to reach the ropes, not his own partner though. Malachi in a very dangerous position here, Walker, into the cover. Tank Bryson in to break it up though.
You mentioned it yourself, dangerous indeed. Everyone involved in this matchup, from inside the ring to outside the ring, are incredibly dangerous.
Risk takers absolute monsters, whatever you want to call them. 2 count there for CRD. He managed to shift his weight, take Bryson off balance, prevent that slam, and capitalize into somewhat of an offensive maneuver. Now the crossface being applied, a Canadian favorite. The Red Devils got it cinched in. Malachi, though, with a kick to the ribs, breaking up that crossface.
Well, it's not going to sit well with the Canadian Red Devil whatsoever. Malachi looking to maintain the attack here. Can he do so, James?
That sleeper hold by CRD. Malachi's fading. He's already in a seated position. That gives Canadian Red Devil all the positioning to put his body weight on the neck and throat. Chelsea Stackhouse calling over our referee to check on Tank Bryson. Red James now with a hammer to the head of the Canadian Red Devil. Repeated shots with our bell hammer.
I know we said the foreman always gets the job done, but not the construction job. What is going on here?
And that is why Chelsea Stackhouse is referred as the foreman's right-hand man, providing the distraction, allowing Red James to use that bell hammer to secure the win for the Psychotic Messengers and the entirety of Team Red James.